You don't have to struggle with drafting tight ends in fantasy football. I have 5 tight ends that you can draft right now that are relatively cheap and underrated right here on the Fast Draft channel. Right off the bat, why does everyone all of a sudden hate Tucker Kraft? You can get him in the 11th round in Bestball right now. And I know for you guys playing Flex 4 and Fast Draft, you should fade tight end for that specific format. But I have something planned for you, so stick around and pay attention because the need for tight ends are coming. And then for all of you who are already playing best ball, you're letting him fall to the 11th round. Right now he's going after Colston Loveland, Travis Kelce, and Mark Andrews. Now I can see the argument for Colston Loveland, but keep in mind he hasn't been on a football field yet, so a lot of what our expected usage is solely speculation, even though that I think he should be used early and often. But back to Tucker Kraft, he's someone that you can get as an easy stack with Jordan Love as your QB2, and that's in almost any format. More importantly, out of tight ends who had at least 50 receptions, Tucker Kraft was second in yards per reception and yards per target. This is someone who's consistently earning targets in a messy offense. Now, I know that we have Matthew Golden there. I know that Jaden Reed is still there, but this offense runs a lot like the 49ers, so they're going to consistently attack wherever the defense is weakest, meaning that you're going to have some spike weeks with Tucker Kraft. So if you're going to miss out on some of these high-end tight ends, let's say like Trey McBride, Brock Bauer, Sam Laporta, George Kittle, go ahead and wait and then target Tucker Kraft, who's somebody that's only scratched the surface of their potential. Because remember when he was drafted the first year, he was a little bit injured. Then he was competing for targets with Luke Musgrave. Now fast forward, the team has already stated that he's their guy and that he needs to get more targets. I'm drafting him everywhere, and whether you're getting him as your tight end 1 from fading or your tight end 2, he's someone who's consistently going to crack your lineup. Next, it's Isaiah Likely, who is going around after Tucker Kraft. Now, one answer, let's say redraft dynasty, would be that you should avoid all the Ravens tight ends. But for best ball or for a tight end 2 with upside, you're going to want to take Isaiah Likely, especially in the range that he's going, which is around Dalton Kincaid, who is a hard fade for me. And then let's say messy backfields like the Jaguars running backs. And when you look back at last season, yes, Mark Andrews was struggling to get back on the field after having that offseason injury and car wreck, but we still saw him earn targets even in the playoffs. Moreover, John Harbaugh has already said that he wants Isaiah Likely to be an all-pro. Now, when you think about where Mark Andrews is going, and then that he's on the wrong side of 30, and Isaiah Likely's this move tight end that doesn't need to stay in and block, and the versatility he adds in a room full of pass catchers like Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, and 2 other tight ends, I think that Isaiah Likely is the same bet at a much cheaper cost than someone like Mark Andrews. So, especially in formats like Best Ball, I'm going to let someone else take Mark Andrews every other time, and then I'm going to target Isaiah Likely a lot later. Even if I don't have Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Likely is someone that I'm consistently targeting as a tight end too. And if you like content like this, hit the like and subscribe button. And I know I'm talking tight ends here, and I know if you're playing Fast Draft, I keep telling you to fade tight end, but I got good news. We have our full Best Ball tournament. It's still going to be much faster than the usual hour-long draft, but you have a full lineup: quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex, and a tight end. So that's why I'm giving you episode just like this to get you primed and ready while we still have fresh ADP. So you want to hit the like and subscribe button. More importantly, if you want in on our Discord, I'll have that link in the description. You can hop in there where we're always having giveaways, specifically on Fast Draft Friday. We have exclusive giveaways just for the Discord, and we have AMAs, and we're giving all this free fantasy advice and information from people like me, and more importantly, the fantasy community filled with people just like you. So if you want content like this, again, like, subscribe, download Fast Draft, and I'll keep you updated on all new things. And we'll hop into it with David Njoku. Now he's going ahead of the other guys that I've talked about, and for some of you, he may not be considered a sleeper. When you think about what he's done on a per game basis in conjunction to where we're drafting him, I don't think a lot of you really know just how good David Njoku's been, even in a dysfunctional Browns offense. Last year out of tight ends, he was 4th in points per game and 5th in targets. I know we finally saw Jerry Jeudy have that breakout, but even with Jerry Jeudy, even with Cedric Tillman, David Njoku is an incredibly athletic tight end who could easily be the consistent second target earner in this offense. More importantly, a lot of the big reason to fade is because we don't know what's going on at quarterback with the Browns. Well, I'm here to tell you that the Browns haven't known what's going on in quarterback for the last decade, and David Njoku has still produced even despite that dysfunction. So I still like Sam Laporta, but let's say you miss out on him, or you want to get a little bit more diversity at a cheaper cost. David Njoku's the perfect target because we've already seen consistent production. He's still athletic and he still profiles as a second target earner. I'm not the biggest believer in Cedric Tillman that some of you are. I do think that he's a good weapon, but I consider him the third target within this offense. And let's say Shadur Sanders takes over, David Njoku is the perfect rookie quarterback target. And I know Harold Fannin was just drafted, but keep in mind, David Njoku still has 1 year left on his contract, so this could be more about what Harold Fannin offers in the future and not so much in the right now in 2025. There isn't a better tight end bang for buck than David Njoku. Now we're going to get a little boring with Hunter Henry for the Patriots. Again, you'll always hear me say that if you want to draft a tight end, you want somebody who has an opportunity to be a top 2 target. The Patriots are as messy as it gets, but I want to tell you that Josh McDaniels loves to target to tight ends, and they have a messy pass catching offense. So yes, I see Kyle Williams getting targets. Yes, I see Demario Douglas. Hunter Henry is arguably the only red zone threat, and he's coming off a year where he was 5th in team target percentage. Now, granted, that was a small piece of the pie, but that was in a mostly dysfunctional offense. When you're looking for a tight end 2, look no further than Hunter Henry because he's going in the 16th round. You're arguably getting him as a tight end 3 if you want to go with that kind of build. He's not flashy, but he has a safe floor. And then with this new version of an old offense with Drake May and Josh McDaniels, there is upside, especially relative to cost. Lastly, I'm going to finish with the rookie. I know I've been a huge proponent for someone like Terrence Ferguson, but Mason Taylor is someone I'm targeting just as often. He went in the 2nd round, and then when you talk about tight ends who are going to be the number 2 target on their team, the Jets are dismal. All they have is Garrett Wilson, and I know that Arian Smith has gotten a lot of hype in practice, but Mason Taylor is someone who profiles as a middle of the field target earner that could be very useful for someone like Justin Fields. Another thing I want to bring up is the system that they brought in. Aaron Glenn brings over the passing coordinator from the Lions, and we know just how effective the Lions are at targeting tight ends. So when you think about a prospect like Mason Taylor, who had quick feet and was one of the top 2 targets in an ascendant LSU offense that we all assumed was in a rebuild, they were, but I digress. Mason Taylor is someone that you can get as a tight end 3, or if you fade tight end 2, and stack with someone like Justin Fields. I talked about how the Jets are easily stackable. Mason Taylor is a huge reason for that. Now, I know I don't have a lot of previous data. I know in the past that rookie tight ends haven't been very effective, but recent trends, particularly in the last 5 years, I think kind of buck that, where we see Sam Laporta have a breakout. Even Kyle Pitts and what he's done for us here lately hasn't been great, had a breakout rookie season. If you have a coaching staff who knows what they want and they draft a player like this early, this is someone who I want to target and take a shot on because the upside is there, even though they may have a lower floor. The Jets haven't been pretty, but that's baked into the cost. And now we actually have upside, and I'm willing to bank on that. Now that'll do it for me, folks. If you want more content like this, as always, hit the like and subscribe button. Helps us greatly. And I'll have more content briefing you guys and getting you ready for the 2025 season. As always, I'm Jagger. Love you. See you on the next one.
So I thought I needed.